I've seen a lot of hype content for Endfield. A lot of it is on the combat, characters, and fantastic liveliness that the world has, and I'm super excited for that. But the one thing I'm most excited for on release has got to be the factory building. In this video, I'll explain how Enfield's base works at its basics in the first region, Valley 4, along with its pros, cons, and things I hope will arise out of the base system when the game releases, at least for Valley 4. The core of your factory will be using a variety of machines to process three main ores, originium, amethyst, and ferrium, which I'll sometimes refer to as iron. These are mined using mining rigs and sent back to your base. These products go through a variety of different processing machines that I will let you all discover for yourself to create different products, which you can use to create even more products, until you end up at your final item, usually batteries, or combining them with plants to make healing items. As you progress through the game, you'll have access to higher quantities of the materials, but when you reach the 6th area, the Power Plateau, you'll be introduced to Sandleaf. Sandleaf is a plant that you will combine with the 3 ores to upgrade originium to its cube form, amethyst to crystalline, and iron to steel. This means more recipes, more products, and more base designing. The factory must grow. There's a lot more content in the next region, Wu Wing, but since that has so much info I can make a whole separate video, I'm gonna make it its own video. What you actually do with the factory is up to you, but typically your priority is selling your products to your outpost, which will give you stock bills in exchange. You can also be making operator gear, zipline towers, and a lot more factory machines as you prepare to grow it, which I'll expand a little more on later. There's a lot of joy to be found in learning the details in the factory and capitalism, and I will let you all discover that for yourself on release. The factory system is something completely new to the gacha scene, and I think the main thing it has going for it is that it's extremely accessible for new players to the genre. There are factory tutorials that give gacha currency, and the initial mechanics are relatively simple to lower the barrier of entry into this new, personally addicting style of gameplay. At least personally, I've sunk more than 150 hours into the factory alone without any prior experience. Hypergriff is clearly trying to make a new style progression compared to the other existing 3D gachas, as when you make your operator's gear with the factory, it is completely RNG free. You just press craft, and it's done. No more dailies for years farming for artifacts. I think it's an amazing start to a gacha, and I have many hopes for the future. But to talk about those, I first have to talk about what I think are some of the current system's issues. The first issue as of Beta 2, the latest beta, is that the factory lacks a proper goal or endgame. While it's a lot of fun to design initially, in the current state of the game, it is kind of a one and done situation. You can always continue to optimize your factory to look better visually, but for results, you're done. Your outposts maintain the same consistent demands, so once you fulfill them, there isn't any reason to switch it up outside of aesthetic reasons. This also leans into the problem of the material chokehold these late game outposts will have on your factory. To satisfy full outpost demand means using virtually all of your relevant ores on the outposts. There isn't any surplus to make new buildings and gear, meaning if you didn't make enough on your first go, you will have to sell less products to make what you need. These issues, to me at least, keep the factory aspect of the game a bit too far separated from the core gameplay. And it's understandable why they are still there. For example, for it to be a weekly task to change your base to slowly sell a different product, it can feel like a chore and lead to burnout. Now, I still want to see the factory grow. Hypergriff has clearly put a lot of passion into it, and would love to see it expand along with the game. Something I would want to see is that while the main factory can remain a one and done type situation, the factory can be a consistent medium for events as well. While other games' events are mostly combat, puzzles, and temporary game modes, Endfield also has the factory. Imagine temporary event factories where you use event materials, make event products to earn event rewards. It can even be used to test new factory features that can possibly return permanently with enough positive feedback. We will constantly get new factory content without needing to add busywork tasks that change our old factory. As for the material chokehold, I think this can also be bundled with the solution that the factory feels disconnected from the rest of the open world. Instead of this just giant plot of land used for the factory, we can craft decorations for our factory with surplus materials. Imagine we had a little more ore so we can make our gear without cutting supply lines, and once we're done, we can use the excess to decorate the land surrounding the factory. Just like how we're rewarded for overproducing with decorations in the spaceship, it would be really cool if this applied to the open world as well. There's a lot more room for creativity here, given that with the buildings, we can basically build whatever we want on the map already. That concludes my own thoughts on the factory system in Endfield, at least for Valley 4. If you want to see a rundown of, and the many theories I have about wooing, stay tuned. Trying to get finished as soon as possible between that and M88CM. Thanks for watching.